Hey everyone, welcome back to Creativity on the Borderline. It was so fun to get the channel started last week, and today we're going to continue to delve into the topic of self-care. In this video, I'll be exploring the topic of investing in outside help. As I mentioned, I currently invest in a therapist and an accountability coach, and these are two ways that I take care of myself as a whole person. But I've also invested in other forms of help before too. I want to give the caveat that I have invested in these forms of help at different points in my career and in my life. So sometimes money has been tighter, so I have scaled back, and other times I've been more secure financially. So I do want to recognize the financial privilege that necessitates these types of outside help. I feel grateful to have been able to invest in myself like this when it has made sense. So here is a list of some of the ways I've invested in myself over the years. As I touched on, I invest in regular, usually weekly therapy. I am conscious of price and was lucky enough to find a therapist with a very reasonable hourly rate, which affords me the chance to see him weekly. This is a non-negotiable for me. No matter how broke I am, I invest in this, even if I have to stretch out the time between sessions to make it work. It is a must in my mental health treatment plan. I found my therapist via Psychology Today, which does let you filter therapists by price. I also currently invest in accountability coaching. This is something that I've done on and off over the last year. It is by no means a must, but it is useful. I found her on Upwork, and we currently meet every weeknight for only about 5 to 10 minutes to touch base on my daily routines and goals. She holds me accountable for the seemingly small daily choices I make, but that do add up over time. I've also invested in career coaching in the past. This was more applicable when I was in the corporate world, but it is something I would wholeheartedly recommend if you have questions or concerns about your career path. If you can afford it, it can have ripple effects on your life, your career, and even your salary. This has been an on and off investment for me. And again, I found my career coaches that I've worked with on Upwork. I've also invested in business coaching in the past. In my experience, it can be quite expensive, so I've really only done one-off sessions here and there, but it has always helped me improve my business overall. I found one coach off Upwork and another one was through my network. And besides therapy, the most important outside help I've invested in was food and body image coaching. I used to have a full-blown eating disorder and I struggled deeply with my body image. Basically, I have a naturally small body, but when I started to take psych meds, I gained a lot of weight. Like, I basically doubled my body size. And I desperately tried to control it with unhealthy eating and exercise habits, which have been confirmed to be anorexia. It took a lot of work to undo those unhealthy habits, which on the surface seem like healthy things, like tracking my calories or pushing myself to do workouts that I hate. And for me, the golden ticket out of my eating disorder and body image issues was intuitive eating. Now, I am not a medical professional. I cannot give anyone professional advice for their food or their body image struggles. All I can say is that it worked for me. I invested in coaching for several months and we stopped when we had felt like we had reached a good point. My coach helped me explore the reasons behind my eating disorder and negative body image, and slowly I came out of it. I still struggle with my body image sometimes, as it's hard to be in a bigger body in a fat-phobic society, but I am doing much better now, and my food choices are ones that make me feel good. Also, when I am not dealing with some physical health issues, I do engage in joyful movement, which for me looks like walking on my at-home treadmill when it feels right. I found my coach through social media. At different times, I've also invested in budgeting coaching. This has also been on and off, but very useful nonetheless. When I have a pressing money question, I will book a session with my budgeting coach, and we will get together and really crunch the numbers and figure out what my budget should look like at this season in my life. I found her through a Google search and just kind of found her site and thought she seemed interesting. I also sometimes invest in Spanish tutoring. I have been trying to learn Spanish for the past year or so to talk more with my family overseas. So on and off, I do pay for a tutor. I found her on a website called italki, which has very reasonable prices. This plus a Babbel subscription that I split with my friend has helped me increase my Spanish knowledge a lot. It is a cool way to definitely learn something new. Some honorable mentions are apps and services that I invest in. I pay for a mood tracking app called Dailyo. It gives me comprehensive mood charts that I can then easily send to my therapist or reference in medical appointments. I also pay for the Reframe app, which is for alcohol reduction. I mostly use their recovery meetings function to connect with others who are on the same sober path. I also paid for a budgeting app called Daily Pay, and I use that along with a budgeting spreadsheet that I purchased off of Etsy for my financial self-care. So these are just a few of the ways I have invested in myself over the years. I would love to know, how do you invest in yourself? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you next time on the Borderline.